Steve Miller. Hey, welcome back, viewers. It's James Kalm, your half-assed reporter, and I am at the very most west edge of Chelsea, and we're going to run into the 303 gallery and try to get some pictures of Karel Funk. Let's grab one of these. Well, it is mercifully chilled in here. I worked in the studio all day. I think it probably got up to about 94, 95 degrees here in New York. And when I pedaled across the bridge, I noticed on the clock and temperature on the watchtower that it was 89 degrees. Well, this is maybe one of the rare shows that is open here in the summer doldrums. And as I take a little stroll around and look at the basic layout of the show, I noticed that all the work is dealing with hoods of jackets, which I guess is a good way to make you forget about how hot it is outside. Oh gee, I think that's the artist right there, Karel Funk. These pieces are untitled, and they're all acrylic on panel. I'm glancing over the press release, and it says that Karel was born in 1971 and received his BFA from the University of Manitoba. I would assume that Karel is a Canuck, Canadian. We'll also talk about his interest and influence from 16th century Flemish and Dutch portraiture. Well, yes, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, although I like the realism of these pieces. Also, each one of these pieces is kind of monochromatic. Untitled number 84, 28 by 35. You know, I'm actually glad that he's kept these, not only the faces of the people that are here, but the clothing line is kind of anonymous. So I don't know whether this is Eddie Bauer or North Face or some other boutique outdoor wear. He's got a very good grasp of his details, and you see that Karel is someone that knows how to use a triple-lot brush. Also, I think that his modeling is very good. As I was saying, this is maybe one of the few openings that has been happening here in Chelsea in the last couple of weeks since the summer doldrums started. from the press release. In a conscious inversion of portraiture's traditional function, Funk's subjects are all seen from the back, swathed in hooded coats made of synthetic and technologically engineered materials. The subjects' identities become anonymous, enveloped and displaced in their garments' contours and colors. The paintings become purely formal floating abstractions of light, shadow, and rippling fabrics, which recall Renaissance and Flemish 17th century portraiture. With an almost trompe-l'oeil flourish, the human origin of the subject disappears into its stark white background with an emerging dimensionality that is tactile and engulfing. Okay, now we know why the curators of the gallery get the big bucks. I think there's a kind of a minimalist aspect to the work with his white backgrounds. And this isn't like something that was put up in front of a white wall. It's like it's been photoshopped, the background has been photoshopped out. But in that way he's able to really concentrate on his shadows and forms, and it does give kind of a abstract formalism. Actually, between the paintings of the hoods and the air conditioning, I'm starting to feel much cooler already. Number 76. So these are on wood panels, but the cradles are fairly substantial. I was going to say that there's actually a long history of hoods or figures in hoods in art history, and I saw this, I was initially thinking of Zuberon, a wonderful, maybe 17th century Spanish painter. Also, I would be remiss to ignore the great Philip Guston and his whole series of hooded figures, although I guess that would have a little different intent. Also, I like Karel's name, Karel Funk. This is probably the largest piece in the show. This is number 36, 2009. 40 by 52 inches. And this kind of silhouetted form really does take on the nature of an abstract, almost abstract sculptural piece. And this little, not so little, this wrinkle across the middle of the hood almost takes on a kind of a sexual aspect when you look at it. I think the other thing is that in many ways the hoods have become kind of a ubiquitous garment. I know I've been watching Mr. Robot, and the main character, Elliot, always kind of pulls up his hood when he wants to assume another personality. or to become more anonymous. And I would say that maybe some of what Karel is playing with is the persona that you can hide behind in a hood. Number 51, 2011 acrylic on panel 24 by 24. And I would actually see the people running around in Brooklyn with this, I don't know, it's like a fur-lined tube sticking out of the front of their head. Couldn't really see their face. Take a closer look at his fur lining. I wonder whether that's real fur or whether it's synthetic. Could get the PETA people in here if it's real fur. This is number 83. Gee, I wonder how many of these Karel has actually finished. 83 is the highest number. I think I like this one coloristically the best. Kind of a deep purple. Slide up and see the last piece here. It's number 67. It's 30 by 30. This is getting a little more interesting as the wrinkles are getting a little more exaggerated and a little more highly rhythmatic, if that's the word. We snagged the artist Karel Funk. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I guess everybody wants to know, what made you decide to pick the hoods as a subject matter?
Well, I kind of stumbled into it when I was in grad school here about 15 years ago.
Right at Columbia, is that right?
That's right. I love Renaissance portraiture.
Yes.
And I was going to the Met quite often to look at the portraits there. And I wanted to do some very small, intimate little portraits. And I thought I would do a portrait of a friend with a hoodie on. And as I was doing that portrait, I started to sort of think how the hoodie, like a modern hood, like a vortex
Sure.
hood or a nylon hood, can become a bridge between the past and the present. And it can be a way for me to pay homage to all these beautiful Renaissance portraits that I love, but also reference modern culture. And so I kind of stumbled into it as I was painting the portraits, and not really, it wasn't like a preconceived idea. It just
Right.
kind of happened.
And then you started to kind of break it down into so they're almost like monochromatic abstractions in a certain way. I mean, it's photorealism, but when you look at just the colors and the form on the flat background, it also becomes very abstract.
They have been. Over the years, I paint very slowly, so I spent a lot of time on one painting, and they have slowly become more abstract, where I'm not as concerned about the physical presence of a person underneath the jacket. And I'm letting the material become more of my muse, less the figure, so it becomes more sculptural. I think about form and light and shadow, and I spend a lot of time sculpting the jacket when I'm photographing the model. So I might actually take the hood
in the studio and then photographing them? And
It's a little bit of all that. Sometimes there is a person. Sometimes I might just model tissue paper under the hood.
I guess we're supposed to wonder about that, right? Isn't that part of the question? Is there someone under the hood? What does the hood do? How does it hide? What does it hide?
Pretty much. It's more about an anonymous figure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Karl, for taking the time. And the show looks great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm not going to be wearing my hood out there. I think it's like 98 degrees now.
I know. The wrong theme for today.
That's right. All right, thanks, Karl.
Thank you.
James Kalm, reporting on Karel Funk here at 303 Gallery, 555 West 21st Street, on the very west edge of Chelsea. You can leave your critiques, comments, statements, questions below. And as always, thank you, Kate. Wow, that was beautiful.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. It was great.